What the hell's the deal with the RDJ Doctor Doom thing anyway?
What's the deal?
That's a question that everybody is asking. In today's video, I want to explore an aspect of this question that nobody else is talking about. You see, there are a lot of rumors and there's a lot of leakage and a lot of people think they know parts of what's going on with RDJ's Doctor Doom. And that's because this will actually have to do with things set up in the Loki show, things set up in Multiverse of Madness, things set up in Spider-Man No Way Home, and just generally how the multiverse, variants, and the sacred timeline all work. In this video, I want to focus on the concept of eternity. And yes, I am talking about essentially just like that wishing well thing from Thor Love and Thunder. But don't worry, because I think eternity's way cooler than that, and that movie sucked balls and we all know it, and fuck that movie. But there's other stuff going on here too, so just chill. And I think one of the reasons that eternity is important as a concept for Doctor Doom and for Avengers Doomsday and eventually for Secret Wars is because of what eternity is in Marvel Comics and because of how eternity was mentioned in the Quantumania movie. Another terrible ass movie that unfortunately we're gonna have to revisit because there was stuff set up there and shit. In Marvel Comics, eternity is a concept that is basically everything that ever will be all throughout time and space, all personified within a cosmic entity known as eternity. And I actually think this is in the Thor Love and Thunder movie, right? I think that's partially why you're able to find eternity at the center of the universe and make a wish for basically anything, because eternity, like the entity, the being itself, if you're able to make something exist there, it breaks the rules of the galaxy otherwise. So you could do anything through the wishing well thing with eternity, but I think it's got to be more than that. I want to take you back to a couple of different things from the MCU's last couple of years. Number one, the Doctor Strange episode from What If Season 1. This episode is all about how there's a thing called a fixed moment in time, and in certain universes, in certain timelines, things have to happen, and if they don't, it just destroys the universe. Well, another way to interpret that is that whatever is supposed to happen, like whatever's possible, already exists within eternity. So therefore, if something happens that's not accounted for within eternity, it decays, destroys, it erodes the fabric of space-time, of reality itself. To add to this, think of the concept of the canon events from Across the Spider-Verse, and remember that when Miguel first pops open that holographic version of the Web of Life and Destiny, there is that branch timeline, just like what you see with Kang and He Who Remains in the MCU. That was all done intentionally, as once upon a time, the movies of the Across the Spider-Verse films were going to connect to the Secret Wars stuff that Marvel's currently doing. And in fact, Miguel O'Hara was going to be working for Kang the Conqueror at one point. And this has all been talked about by other insiders and scoopers. But the point is this: there was precedent set up in both the What If show and in the Across the Spider-Verse thing that in all of these timelines, certain things had to happen, that there were restrictions, and that even if you had time travel or the understanding of events that were going to happen basically through the multiverse, you still couldn't change them. And if you do, the universe erodes and is destroyed. And by the way, it's important to remember this is separate from branch timelines, as branch timelines actually do happen, and unless they are pruned by the TVA, they will become their whole new timeline. Okay, but now let's talk about Doctor Doom. Now, right now, there's a bit of a confusion out there as far as what is the motivation for Doctor Doom. It was said originally by Alex Perez in the Cosmic Circus that Doctor Doom's motivation is going to have something to do with He Who Remains, and that essentially it had something to do with the incursions and with the sacred timeline, and how He Who Remains basically made it so that only the sacred timeline mattered, and he screwed up all of these other timelines, like made them less important. I'm being vague about that because Alex was vague about it. We don't exactly know what that is. But then My Time to Shine Hello has presented a new thing where Doom is just trying to get to Steve Rogers and kill him because Steve is the one that causes all of the incursions and destroys the multiverse. And the truth is, it's probably both. It's probably a combination of both of those, and I am going to do a whole big theory video about what that exactly means. But for the sake of this video, I will just say I still strongly feel that the multiverse being controlled by He Who Remains and not being natural is a big part of what's going to motivate Doctor Doom. And Doctor Doctor Doom will realize that He Who Remains made a fake version of reality, and he tried to remove the X-Men, he tried to remove the Fantastic Four, he tried to remove Doctor Doom. Oh, and by the way, to take it back to Quantumania, there's this whole part where the Kang the Conqueror variant of Quantumania says that he wants to destroy eternity.
Today, we conquer eternity.
Right? And there was that leak for Eternity War. It seemed like at one time Secret Wars was maybe going to be called Eternity War, because maybe destroying eternity is going to allow Doctor Doom to do whatever he wants. Because I think right now Doctor Doom is actually currently restricted. Kang the Conqueror says he wants to kill eternity and burn the other variants out of time. That means eliminating them completely. And again, remember, eternity makes it so anything that did exist still exists in some way. Now, I'll talk more about why I think Doctor Doom actually wants to go kill Steve Rogers, because I think it's more complicated than like he just wants to stop the incursions. But I think no matter what Doctor Doom does, he's gonna be limited. He's gonna be limited in the same way that He Who Remains was limited because of eternity. I've recently talked about this big theory that Doctor Doom and the Fantastic Four were sort of pulled out of the sacred timeline and then exist in their own universe, and that's the 828 universe of the Fantastic Four. And this is due to some stuff with Alex Perez talking in some of these Q&As. It kind of makes it seem like maybe what He Who Remains did was separate out the Fantastic Four, separate out the X-Men, and have them in different universes. And maybe that's like the best he could do, because again, he could not permanently delete them because of eternity. But I think what's going on is Doctor Doom is going to try to kill eternity or destroy eternity, and therefore be able to do anything he wants when he recreates a singular universe in Battle World. So try to think of it like this. He Who Remains makes a new universe. Well, the question would be, why did he make a universe where the Avengers and the X-Men and the Fantastic Four exist at all? Wouldn't he be better off making a universe that didn't have them, and he could just rule over that and have no threat of like heroes popping up and coming after him? And also, wouldn't that not give him more control over the entire multiverse? He could then create the TVA, eliminate all of these things, and without superheroes in the way, it would be really easy. Well, my theory on this is that it has to do with eternity. Eternity makes it so all of these things have to happen. That's why you have canon events. That's why you have the fixed moments in time. And ultimately, that is why He Who Remains separates out the X-Men and the Fantastic Four from the sacred timeline, because they still had to exist because of eternity. So he just puts them in like other timelines that are parallel to Earth. Again, that's why the strands of the sacred timeline show multiple different universes, because they all had to exist because of eternity, and He Remains does it and then just keeps it all on track. And so on the one hand, that explains why Doctor Doom even exists at all, right? He couldn't not exist, and therefore he exists, learns of the whole reality thing and the Prime universe, which is another thing I've been talking about. That's the original version of the Marvel multiverse before He Who Remains won the multiversal war. So it explains that, but it also kind of explains what Doctor Doom might be after in Doomsday or Secret Wars, and that's either the complete destruction of eternity so that he can remake it in whatever way he wants, or it's access to eternity. And so that could be how Thor and that child love is involved. I definitely don't have it all figured out, but I'm absolutely certain that these things were set up on purpose, that this concept, which albeit originally was likely for the Kang the Conqueror character to do, it's still stuff that I think Doom is going to become aware of, and it's a reason as to why he's going to manipulate everybody in Doomsday. So there you go, guys. Just a crazy video about this concept of eternity, the fixed moments in time, the canon events. I think this all will explain a big part of RDJ's Doctor Doom, a big part of the Doomsday film. Let me know what you think about this. Do you have some additions to this theory? Do you have some questions about it? Let me know in the comment section below. And as I always say, I hope you are having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.